Hello and welcome back to the Cheltenham Countdown YouTube channel with just 5 days to go before it all starts. The festival is just around the corner, and for the next 4 days I'm here to preview every day and every race on this platform. It's going to be a spectacular week and I cannot wait to be there on Tuesday to see some top quality action. The purpose of this new channel was purely and solely to build towards the Cheltenham Festival every year, and we're now into the last few days before it all begins. So the countdown is nearly over. Let's begin with the first race. The first day always starts with the Supreme Novices Hurdle, run over 2 miles on the old course at Cheltenham. My favourite race of the entire festival. The market at the moment, current favourite is Ballyburn. Will he go here or the newly named Gallagher on the Wednesday? He's at 10 to 11 here. He's at 10 to 11 shading odds on now. Second fav is Tullyhill at 4 to 1. Mystical Power is 4 to 1. Firefox at 92. Jericho to Reprobate 7 to 1. And it's 8 to 1 bar. My view on this race, obviously the market is dominated by the Irish horses. And I really don't think the winner will come from a UK horse this time. We've had it in the past, obviously, with the likes of Constitution Hill, Shishkin and Altio in a few earlier in recent years. But for the life of me, I can't back Jericho de Reprobate. I don't think he's been as impressive as the other horses at the top of the market. And all season, in fact, I haven't really rated him. I know Nicky Henderson has a good record in this race, like I mentioned, with the 3 horses, Altio, Shishkin and Constitution Hill. But I don't think this horse is as good as his other winners in recent years at this stage in his career. I just think he's not at the level needed to win a Supreme, so I'm definitely not with Jericho de Reprobate, unfortunately. Moving on to the Irish horses, I think Ballyburn will run in the Gallagher Novices Hurdle, the old Berringbingham or whatever it's called. Therefore, Paul Townend may well ride Tullyhill in the Supreme. That's my incline. It could easily be a case where Ballyburn does run here, and it's going to be a late decision where we all find out though. So we'll have to wait and see on that front whether Ballyburn runs in this race or the 2.5 mile novice hurdle on the Wednesday. Incidentally though, you still have Atlantique in this race, and I just wonder, with Willie Mullins, will he send him here, as Paul Townend really wants to ride him as well as Ballyburn at the festival. He also wants to ride Atlantique. He's very keen on riding Atlantique as well as Ballyburn. So I'm just wondering whether Atlantique will run in the Supreme and then Ballyburn will run on the Wednesday in the Gallagher. So that's another alternative to look at. If Ballyburn runs the Berringbingham, my money, and I will be back in Ballyburn in the Berringbingham on Wednesday. That's the preview tomorrow. I will be back in Mystical Power here in the Supreme for Mark Walsh and JP McManus. I think he's perhaps the only horse in this race with a quick turn of foot, which is obviously down to his pedigree as well. And that's going to be key up the hill this year at Cheltenham, in my opinion, especially with a pace that could be in this race. It could be a frantic pace, running a good gallop. And I think anyone with a quick turn of foot towards the end, that will pay dividends to their race. And I think Mystical Power, with his turn of foot, is easily the quickest horse potentially in this race. Firefox. Now, this horse did beat Ballyburn back in December at Fairyhouse over 2 miles on soft ground. Bearing in mind, though, Firefox did have a run under his belt and won prior to that at Down Royal. Nonetheless, I still thought it was a good performance to beat Ballyburn. And then he stepped up to 2.5 miles in the Lola as an ace, which for me, he didn't like the distance that day, and dropping back down to 2 miles in the Supreme will and probably should suit them. Jack Kennedy and Gordon Elliott, of course, have won the Supreme as well before with Lecky. So they have good records in this race as well. And then the last horse to look at is Tullyhill. I'm not sure this horse is capable of winning a Supreme, in my opinion, as I don't think he jumps particularly slick enough. So I won't be with him as well. So my selection in the Supreme, if Ballyburn runs in the Berringbingham, like I said, I will be siding towards Mystical Power. And I think outside of him, I am interested in Firefox. I think he'll run a big race, and I have had a nibble on him each way, as I think he is a good shout. The second race on day one is the Grade 1 Arkle Novices Chase. The market at the moment, I should say, with Marine Nationale now out, Electric Tomp is at 4 to 1, Founder 50 at 4 to 1, Gaelic Warrior at 5-1, Hunter's Yarn at 11-2, and Fast Vega at 13-2. Then it's JPR1 and Quilixios both at 7-1 and 10-1 bar. My view on this race is quite an open Arkle this year. So going down the list, there may be a case to be made for a few, such as Pertemps, who's an Irish Arkle winner, Founder 50 and Gaelic Warrior, but I'm not backing any of them. I'm not backing any of those three horses. I'm crossing out Pertemps, Founder 50 and Gaelic Warrior. I'm going each way on two horses, JPR1 and Quilixios, which are two types that have really impressed me this season. If I start with JPR1, who I'd confidently say is the best jumper in this field. He is a quality jumper over his fences and jumps as straight as they get. Was unfortunate to fall at the last at Cheltenham in November in the Arkle trial after racing so well throughout the contest, and he impressed me even more last time out at Lingfield in January when again he jumped brilliantly. 10-1 is a good each way price, and he could jump these silly if running the same way he has been all season. The second shout, like I said, is Quilixios, who is an underestimated type. I think he's coming to the Arkle picture under the radar. His performance at Nace was good back in January, beating a horse I really fancied for the plate later in the week. He's a solid performer and a previous Triumph Hurdle winner at the festival. Jockey Rachel Blackmore has a good relationship with him, and I wouldn't write off his chances at all with this wide open Grade 1. So JPR1 and Quilixios will be my each way selections. Both horses won't mind if it does come up soft ground on the day, which is likely, and they are solid types. I couldn't go near Gaelic Warrior here, and Pertemps as well, who's also run at Cheltenham twice before, and he hasn't done as well as he does at Leopardstown. So just to recap, the two in the Arkle, JPR1 and Quilixios. The first handicap of the festival is the Ultima handicap chase, the third race on the day one. At the market at the moment is Meeting of the Waters is your 5-1 favourite. The Goffer is at 7s. Chianti Classico 8-1, Stumptown 10-1, Giovinco 12-1, along with Theatre Man 14-1 bar. This race is interesting, in my opinion, as I think the favourite is just a bit short for this handicap, I think. Although he may well be a very good horse, I am thinking of looking at higher prices, horses at higher prices for this race, especially now with the ground not being so heavy on the track. One who I think can run well on this ground is Victorino for Charlie Deutsch and Venetia Williams. He's won 2 races at Ascot this season on soft and good ground, respectively. Other horses as well you could have a case for is Giovinco, although I don't think his experience is enough yet in terms of a big handicap at Cheltenham. I don't think he's had enough races with big numbers in terms of horses in the races yet in his career. A lot of people are saying Chianti Classico in the Ultima. He's definitely in with a shout. I just think he'll find one too good on the day, in my opinion. So my selection in the Ultima will probably be Victorino, who I'm going to go for each way. He's currently at 20-1 price. Moving on to the feature race on day one of the Cheltenham Festival, which is the Champion Hurdle. With Constitution Hill out, obviously State Man is now a very short price favourite. Lossiemouth is second favourite, and we'll probably find out on Sunday, or maybe earlier perhaps, if she is to run here or not. Rumours are saying that she's going to definitely run in the Mares Hurdle, which I think is a better option for her as well. Irish Point is 9-2 and 16-1 bar, including Iberico Lord, who was supplemented yesterday. I was a massive fan of State Man, despite Constitution Hill being out. I'm sure he'll win, and Willie will get another Champion Hurdle and give Paul Townend his first winner in the race. Like I said, I don't think Lossiemouth will run in this race, so Irish Point may well be second favourite. And yeah, I think State Man should just come here and win convincingly. He is a short price favourite, but it's as simple as that. State Man will win the Champion Hurdle this year. Up next is another Grade 1, the Mares Hurdle over 2.5 miles. Last year's Triumph winner Lossiemouth is the market favourite at 4-7. Astro Diamond, another for Willie Mullins, is second favourite at 7-2. Then there's a whole host of horses at around 12, 14 and 16-1, including Marie's Rock, Love Envoi, Echoes in Rain, Galamasso, Magical Zoe, and Hispanic Moon, 20-1 bar. My view in the Mares Hurdle, so this is the first race where I've got an antepost selection involved in the Cheltenham Festival this year, and in fact she was my first pick of my antepost series back in October. It was Love Envoi I backed as my first pick on the Cheltenham Countdown at 12-1. She finished second in this race 12 months ago to the legendary mare Honeysuckle. That was a career best run from her at the time. And anything close to that this time around, I think will definitely put it in the frame. It hasn't quite worked out well for her this season though, yet, as she's had 2 runs and come second twice. The second of those runs behind the favourite for this race, which is Lossiemouth, on trials day back in January when she got beat by 9 lengths. It's going to be very hard to oppose Lossiemouth here, as she looked ultra impressive, ultra classy in the Unibet hurdle, and has run exceptional over the course twice at Cheltenham. The question mark seems to be with her is, will she stay the distance? Personally, I don't see an issue with her stamina, and she should definitely be able to see out this trip, in my opinion. You can ride her any way, I feel, held up, prominent, or even sit midfield, and I think she'll still have enough in the tank and too much class to power past her rivals. She was off the track for 273 days between her last 2 runs and won both races convincingly. So despite having only 1 run this campaign, she's definitely the horse they have to beat. So in terms of a selection in this race, I have had, like I said, an anti-post play in the mare's hurdle, which is Love Envoi each way at 12-1, although I do think Lossiemouth will win this race. Following on from that race is another handicap, and it's the Boodles Juvenile hurdle. Lark in the Morning is still the favourite at 5-1, Batman Girac at 7s, Melantino at 8s, Ndawi at 9s, and Woodou at 10-1, 11-1 bar. I don't want to be with Lark in the Morning or Melantino really, but I think Batman Girac will be a good thing. Although the drying ground at Cheltenham will be interesting. So ground may dictate where I'm going to side with or who on the day really. I may have a preference towards Woodou as well. She's done nothing wrong all season. One at a price who could run into a place, I think, is Roaring Legend, trained by Ollie Murphy. And he disappointed the last day, but he could finish within the first 5 or 6, I think. I'll probably side with Batman Girac for the Boodles. I'm with the thought that he could be a bigger graded horse in this handicap. And like Gaelic Warrior was a few years ago, he may well turn out to be a good thing in the juvenile hurdle. Some each way shouts as well, like I said, Woodou and Roaring Legend. And to round off the opening day, hopefully with a winner by then, is the marathon trip that is the National Hunt Chase. As we stand, another Willie Mullins horse that is short on the day is Embassy Gardens at 9-4. Corbis Cross is the favourite though at 15-8. Salvador Ziggy at 4-1, and then is 8-1 bar. I did have an anti-post play in this race not so long ago. It was Minella Cocooner, who is now not going to run in this race. So I reckon now it's between the top 2 horses in this market, which are Embassy Gardens and Corbis Cross. And if I had a preference, I may side with Embassy Gardens, just because I think he could relax and settle a bit more better than Corbis Cross over 3 miles 6 furlongs. His jumping is particularly good, and it's going to take a lot of good jumping and a lot of patience from horses and the jockeys to get into a good rhythm for this race. Corbis Cross can race slightly too freely for my liking, and that's my worry for him, is will he exert a lot of energy around Cheltenham. So it's going to be Embassy Gardens for me in the National Chase now. And that's the wrap for the day 1 preview for the Cheltenham Festival this year. My selections will also be on Twitter and Instagram every morning of the Cheltenham Festival. So if anything does change between now and then, do go and check them out. I'll put the social media sites on the description down below. And I'll be back tomorrow for a preview of day 2 of Cheltenham. So I'll see you all then. Thank you very much.